Hey y'all, I have a fun pine cone Dollar Tree picture frame tutorial for you today. I'm loving this one. It was a lot of fun. I have a couple different color options and I'm going to go through all the supplies, but I will have everything listed in the description box below. To make pine cone flowers, you'll need pruning shears, protective gloves. I used about 10 pine cones in this project. To get them the right shapes and sizes. I have all the Amazon links to the supplies that I use in the description box. The pine cones I get from outside in my yard, so I do bake those at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 30 minutes. That gets all the bugs out and then you can clean them up. I had some purple vinyl that I use for my quote. If you have a quote that you want, I do custom decals. You can message me through Etsy. And then we have 4 picture frames that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. I have some craft paper. I purchased this at Hobby Lobby. It was 69 cents for this sheet of paper and it was 40% off, so it was very inexpensive. And then some Popsicle Sticks that I also purchased at the Dollar Tree. To start the project, you'll want to take apart your picture frames and clean them, and we're going to use the glass inside to measure out the size of the paper. It only took 1 sheet of paper for this size picture frame, so depending on what size frame, this one's a 4x7, you'll only need 1 sheet of craft paper. And we're just going to lay this down and trace out where I need to cut. The first time I made this, I used craft paper that came in a book like this, and it has a little hole which did fall in one of the pieces of paper that I wanted to use. So what I did is I took that little center piece, the extra piece, and I just put it over the top of the paper, and it really blended in. You couldn't tell, even though the print isn't perfect, it blends in really well. So if you're using a piece of paper like this, then just hang on to that extra scrap piece because you're going to need it. I'm just going to clean off all of the glass. Be careful when you're cleaning this glass because it is sharp, and there were some pieces of glass that kind of flaked off of these. So be careful, and I'm going to clean these off and get all the paper placed in each frame. And this would be a good time to plug in your hot glue gun. After this, we're going to be gluing the frames together. When you're lining these frames up, if you get it straight in the very center, then it's not straight at the top. Whenever I glued them, I did line them up more at the top than I did in the center. So the center is just a little bit off. So I recommend when you're gluing this to just kind of squeeze together the center part of the frames. And then I'm just going to break these pieces here off or cut them off, but we don't need these extra pieces on the frame. So you're gonna also need the popsicle sticks at this point. So we're going to put some hot glue in between each frame. We're gonna press them together and then put the popsicle stick over the edges just to kind of keep everything in place and hold it all together. And I'm very generous with the hot glue. I press on the glue stick as I go down just so it'll come out a little quicker. So plenty of hot glue will be used. And then press the frames together and grab the popsicle stick and place it on before the glue dries. Now with making the pine cone flowers, I wanted to have them different sizes. I wanted them to be kind of small, medium, and large. So I'm going to show you how to cut those and make them the size that you would like them to be. I use the larger shears when I'm cutting the bottom portion of the pine cone. It's a game changer. It's so much easier. I was using just the smaller shears and it's doable, but it can be a little difficult. And I've had a lot of people say that they could not cut pine cones with the smaller shears. So that's why we're using the bigger ones. Once I get the bottom piece off, I'm going to switch over to my other size shears. And now I'm just going to cut the very top of this pine cone off. By doing just the very top, I'll be able to either decide if I want to make it a little bit bigger or smaller. If you want your pine cone flower to be smaller, then you can start removing the pieces of the pine cone from the bottom half. If you would like for your pine cone to be bigger, your pine cone flower, then you can remove these top pieces and start chipping away from the top. And that's where the pointy shears come into play when we start really chipping away at this. If you're not careful, you'll cut pieces that you don't want to cut. So a lot of times I hold the shears pointed toward the pine cone just to clip the very bottom, and that way I don't get any of the other pieces. Once I've trimmed this down and gotten my flower the size that I want it to be, I have this centerpiece that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to grab those other shears and we're going to clip off the center. Now this next pine cone I'm going to make a little smaller, and then I actually will show you one more where I have the smallest size pine cone that I use, which is using the very top of the pine cone. After removing a couple of layers from the bottom, you'll need to trim this excess off so you can remove more. So you can use that technique to make them different sizes, and then we're going to do one that's a little bit smaller. So to get the smallest option, we're going to use the very top of the pine cone. So whenever you're cutting it in half, go a little bit lower than we did the first time. I'm using acrylic paint that I purchased at Walmart. These are 59 cents a piece, and I am using a yellow. You can really do this project. There are so many color options. There's so many craft paper options. I would love to see what you guys come up with, so definitely share that with me on my social media. The links are in the description. I did 2 coats of paint, so I just slap on this paint and get a couple coats on it. And you'll need to get your hot glue gun ready. When you glue these on, you really have to hold them in place until the glue dries because they'll just fall over. So you have to hold it for a while, just getting it on there. What I was doing is getting one kind of stable and then doing the second one. That way I could hold two at a time to move the process along a little faster. But be generous with the hot glue and hold it in place. I lined them up the order that I wanted them to go in, trying to do the best I could from biggest in the center, smallest to the outside. The one that you're gluing to the glass, you will want to put a little bit of the glue on the flowers to where the flowers touch, because the hot glue just doesn't stick to the glass that great. So you'll want to put a little bit of glue on the edge of the flower. And our final step, adding the decal. And if you have a quote or a custom decal that you are interested in, definitely send me a message through my Etsy shop and I would love to help you make that happen.